Welcome back, math students. I hope that everyone had a nice break. This week, now that we're back, we are going to be doing some review stuff that you already know, but we need to make sure that everybody's got this fresh in their brain before we move on into the next couple of chapters that we're going to be working on. So today we're going to focus on order of operations, which you guys already know about. When we talk about order of operations, we usually use this acronym PEMDAS to try to remember the order that we would do these different operations in. And the first letter, the P, is for parentheses. Now, parentheses might just look like regular parentheses, or they might be like the squared off kind of set brackets, or they might even be those fancy looking squiggly kind of brackets. Any of those can be considered grouping symbols. Be careful because remember, we also talked about how a fraction bar could also sort of be like a grouping symbol. So that might come into play. Exponents are those small numbers that are kind of raised next to another number. So for instance, if I had 3 squared, that doesn't mean 3 times 2. This answer is not 6. This is saying I've got 2 3's that are getting multiplied together. So 3 times 3, which would be equal to 9. Exponents are going to be happening quite a bit in these next couple of units. When we look at the rest of them that are left, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, be careful on your order. You do not have to do multiplying before dividing. We write it that way because that's how we're used to writing PEMDAS. The M comes before the D. But when we're doing the math, we have to go from left to right. So if you get to a division problem before a multiplication problem, make sure that you do that in the correct order. Same thing with addition and subtraction. We've talked in class about how some students tend to do multiplication before they do division, addition before they do subtraction. And I see that often, but just be careful that you're really following your order of operations. So for this problem, we've got parentheses around the -6. This isn't really a grouping symbol kind of parentheses. This is really just to keep the negative that's on the 6 away from the addition sign. And we do have exponents, so we have to make sure that we do that exponent first. And if you're not careful on some calculators, and by the way, you can use calculators on this. Some calculators, if you type in -6 squared, some calculators will give you the right answer, and most of them won't. Because most calculators now think they can kind of do order of operations. So if you don't put parentheses around that -6, like it's written on here, the calculator is going to think that you really meant -1 times 6 squared, or the opposite of 6 squared. So we have to be really careful here. And I'm going to suggest that you show some work when you're doing this assignment today. I'm going to have 4 plus -6 squared is going to be a positive 36, right? Because -6 times -6, same signs, that's going to be positive, divided by 4 minus 8. Now, the next thing that we get to is this division right here. So I'll have 4 plus 36 divided by 4 is 9. And 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 minus 8 will give me 5. My arrows are not working today, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, this problem, tons of parentheses. And we've got exponents and division and addition and subtraction stuff. So when I do this problem, I want you to notice this is like the big outside parentheses for all that other stuff in there. Again, the -2 cubed, that negative is just saying that's a -2 that's getting cubed. It's not just subtracting 2 cubed. So in the first big set of parentheses, I could certainly change this to a keep change that looks like +5. That's fine. But I have to do my division first. So 30 divided by -3 is going to be -10. And this was minus a -5. I already changed it to be that. You're going to notice also I rewrite everything that I haven't done yet. I want to see the entire problem. So now -10 plus 5 is going to be a -5. Now I don't need parentheses around it. It wouldn't hurt to have parentheses, but I don't need them. Now, I would also be perfectly fine with you doing that -2, oh, I wrote squared, -2 cubed right away. because that would have been taking place after we did the stuff in parentheses, but this is fine the way we've got it. So this is going to be -5 times, now -2 cubed would really be, let me write this out, -2 times -2 times -2. Oh, that got kind of messy. But I've got 3 negatives, which means it's going to be a negative. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So -5 times -8 is positive 40. And for our last problem today, again, lots of stuff going on here. -6 cubed. -6 times -6 times -6. 3 negatives, that's going to make it a negative. And 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is 216. So this is going to be -216. Let me just rewrite what we've got right now. Now I've got a division and I've got a multiplication. So I have to make sure that I do this division first. That's what I get to first in my problem. And -216 divided by 9 is -24. Okay, now, if we were right here in class, I would say -24 minus 24. Well, should I do that first and get a -48? You know, say, no, Mrs. Kemper, we can't do that. We have to do this multiplying. So I'm going to have a -24 minus 48 and then plus 8. Now I have to go left, right, and I have to do this. I would also say, let's change that to plus a negative, which is going to give me -72. Plus 8 gives me -64. Now, you guys know I am showing like every possible bit of work here. I could understand if you didn't show everything that I did, but I hope that that made sense. Make sure that you're looking in Schoology for what your assignment is going to be and for the learning checks. Good luck. Let me know if you need any help.